People not from the Western world. What's something Westerners eat that makes you wonder why the heck would you eat that? A family friend from South Africa commented on pumpkin pie once. Wait, you put pumpkins into pie? Why would you do that? The first thing I ever ate when I got off the plane in the USA was a big greasy slab of pepperoni pizza. You gotta understand, I ate only fish, pig or some kind of bird with rice beforehand. Seeing that for the first time made my stomach churn until I was encouraged enough to finally take a bite. And holy it if I wasn't singing A Whole New World with my taste buds after that. Soon after I tried burritos, tacos and nachos, and I within a year was obese. Cheese. When my mom encountered cheese for the first time, she thought it was something that had gone bad. She's from a small village in China, by the way. I'm a Western person, but I lived in a remote jungle village in the South Pacific for a few years. I'd always have a tin of milk powder in my bush kitchen for making tea and coffee. My language helper wanted to know why the tin had a cow in it when it was white powder and not corned beef, the only cow in a tin she knew of. I explained the origin of milk powder and how in my country we get it slightly fresher as a liquid and many people drink it. She was totally grossed out that white people love to drink cow breast milk. Living in a remote village with no refrigeration, she had never had milk, cheese, yogurt etc. So when I explained how we ferment milk to make those, she started gagging. My mom is from a village in Burma. When my mom and her family moved to MacLeod, then a Portuguese colony, they were served ham for the first time during the trip. My grandparents thought it was raw meat and the entire family, grandparents and their 10 children, left their ham portions uneaten. My parents are now in their 70s and just in the last 2-3 years got open-minded enough to try medium rare steak. They like it but still view it as a you will get sick food. My dad developed a cold a week after eating medium rare steak and blamed it on the steak. Hear me out. I'm from Southeast Asia. In our country, avocado is like a fruit dessert. Usually, we eat it as it is or we mix it with powder milk. Or better yet, we use this to make ice candy. It surprises me a bit that someone is using this as a spread for a sandwich like a tomato. I grew up in Jamaica. When I first came to the UK in 2001, I started school and primary education. Everyone in my class liked fish fingers, but no one could convince 7-year-old me to eat it because coming from an island, I know fishes have fin. I love them now though, but I only started eating them about 5 years ago. Also, I had never seen white sugar before. In the Caribbean, we predominantly have brown demerara sugar, and to this day it is still my preferred. When I found out you are supposed to put sap from some random tree on your perfectly good pancakes. Edit. Also, sausages get bad reactions from my family in India when I explain to them what it is. Edit. A lot of people think I don't like maple syrup. I do. I love it. It's just the concept of taking sap and making it into something you pour on your pancakes. I traveled to the States once and I was excited to have hash browns considering we were at the source, but they were completely different from what we have at home. Edit. The hash browns I had were from Denny's. But a lot of you have mentioned Waffle House, so I'll definitely give it a try when I come back. Chinese American here. Grew up eating Chinese food at home, but I had enough contact with other Americans to know Western food. I remember being baffled in first grade when a parent brought in a raw veggie platter with dip. I thought you'll eat raw broccoli and cauliflower? When I was teaching in Korea, the concept of sweet rice pudding tended to really confuse my students. That and Marmite, of course. Edit. I can't tell you about whether it's common in other parts of Asia, but it would consistently confuse the kids to the point they'd bring it up in later lessons or other teachers to see if I was making fun of them. It was like how Westerners felt about Koreans putting sugar on garlic bread. Marmite is a spread. It tastes like someone rubbing salt on their knuckles then punching you in the mouth. But in a good way that makes you crave more. Steak. But this is coming from someone who grew up buying meat from stores that aren't exactly sanitized, so we have to make sure they're very thoroughly cooked. American. My wife is Chinese and they did not understand peanut butter until they had some. Now every time I go back to China I have to bring some with me. Edit everything below this line. They tried popcorn and even with butter and salt they still did not like it. They also loved hot chocolate and the Texas Roadhouse. and they were amazed at how much free coffee you can get if you wander around town. I'm half American, half Indonesian and grew up in several countries. Didn't move to the States, Nick specifically, until I was in my 20s. My roommates were trying to figure out American things I had missed out on growing up internationally, and they were blown away that I never had a PB and jelly sandwich. I was hesitant to try it because it's such an odd combo, but man, they made me one and I was like, damn, this is good. Also, s'mores was something they introduced me to one summer. I was used to eating cheese on graham crackers and never thought of it as a vessel for dessert. Monte Cristo sandwich. Deep fried ham and cheese sandwich. Dusted with powder sugar. Served with jam. WTF Americans. Edit. For your information, I tried it at Disneyland Blow Bayou as a tourist after lots and lots of online recommendations. My South African cousin was pretty offended by corn on the cob. That's food for livestock. Overly greasy food. I remember seeing food carnivals that have many deep fried food, like fried Oreos, fried Snickers bars and other fried food. I find it weird that pancakes are considered as breakfast food. It's just cake and sugar and it'd make more sense to be a dessert. The item itself isn't a specific Western thing, but the cooking style is. Ramen noodles. I'm from a Southeast Asian country and instant noodles are very common. We don't call it ramen either, since ramen technically is a specific type of Japanese noodles. It's odd to me that in Western countries it's seen as something to eat when you are dead broke, have no other options. And the most important thing is you'll usually eat it plain or with barely any added ingredient seasoning. Where I come from, we have instant noodles in a huge variety of flavors, mostly spicy flavors, and we usually add a lot of veg or meat, egg, etc. Many of us, of all ages, also tend to eat it as supper or dinner food if we're lazy to head out, so it's not just a college thing. When I vacationed in the US, I ate briskets and those other meats that are smoked and or charred. I forgot what it's called, but it tastes heavenly and I miss eating that. My family's been living in the States for a long while now. My parents don't buy celery that often unless they're planning to use it for a dish. So, when my parents saw me wash some stalks then take out the peanut butter, they were like, making ants on a log in class is what helped me like celeries as a kid. But I guess it's not a thing in Korea, or at least for my parents' generation. No clue about now. My parents weren't into the celery with peanut butter. Too sweet, they said. But then my mom takes out the mayo and uses it as a dip for the celery. It was my turn to go, though it honestly didn't taste as bad as I thought. I tried the celery plus cream cheese combo, with some garlic powder, paprika powder, and salt. I like it. D. Black pudding. From the UK. Pork blood, pork fat and oatmeal, all mushed up into the shape of a hell sausage. I'm American but had a sublisa roommate in college for a semester who was a grad student from a rural part of China. We lived in CA. When we first met her, it was morning and I was making toast for breakfast. She looked super confused by the loaf of bread and asked if it's food. I was like, wait, you've never seen bread? Turns out she had never heard of bread or butter. I made her a slice and she teared up and said she felt American. She then ate almost exclusively toast for a week. Took her grocery shopping and showed her all the different types of bread and we had a little taste test. Sourdough was her favorite, so this San Franciscan was pleased. She made me some of her foods and I definitely stepped way outside of my comfort zone and we had fun. Communicating was a little tough, but good food transcends all language barriers. Edit. I'm sure plenty of people in China regularly have bread or know about it. All I can share is this one particular student's experience. She was from a very rural village and had only been to a large city in China once, and it was just to catch her flight to the US. In terms of what she made for me, I'm generally a pretty picky eater, so when she would tell me the Chinese name for what she was making, I didn't Google it. 99.9% of it was some kind of fish sauce and rice and veggies, and once some squid. It was decent, but a little rough to smell cooking at 6 AM after a night out IA. We share TV shows with each other by putting on subtitles for her to read while watching American shows. She thought Say Yes to the Dress was amazing and really liked Friends. and she would show us some pretty hilarious Chinese game shows. She was really shy with everyone but me. The rest of my roommates were pretty loud and I'm more introverted, and took her under my wing. I made a lot of friends in her classes because there was a large contingency of Chinese students, either Chinese Americans or other international students like her. So she hung out with them more than us as she got into her classes. She ended up dating another exchange student and we went to Forever 21 together to pick out date night outfits. She was a computer scientist, and OMG she brought so many of our cheap laptops back from the dead lol. She was the kindest, most considerate roommate I've ever had, and it was truly a wonderful cultural exchange. It's a great reminder of the importance of these programs, especially for young people. I've seen horrible vilification of Chinese people during this pandemic, and while it's clear the CCP is not good, the people of China are humans just like the rest of us. And about the bread, we were in the Bay Area, so this wasn't like in the middle of nowhere with only Wonder Bread or sugary wheat at a Kroger's. We went to Italian bakeries to get focaccia, pita from the Persian restaurant down the road, all kinds of sourdough, including a sourdough heart loaf from Boding for Valentine's Day. Yes, Wonder Bread, cause she admitted the packaging was familiar. She agreed it was gross. Some super healthy breads from Whole Foods, etc. She also really liked challah bread and I made her French toast with it. I'm American and y'all would freak if y'all seen my great grandma's cookbook from the Great Depression. Y'all like some opossum and applesauce? Korean American living in the southern US here. I cannot understand why anyone would eat chicken gizzards or chitlins. I know about the socio-economic reasons and historical issues that led to cooking every part of an animal. But, then again, my mom gave me squid tentacles to teeth on as a toddler, so I guess we're even. I guess just what's the deal with French fries and ranch dressing? Edit. Holy it, this blew up. Hey man, I just wanted to say that these are the questions I live for. Like goddamn, it's so wonderful to see everyone talking so goddamn candidly about their culture's food. It really made my night. Not so much the food but the amount of food. I have small, size of teacup plates and just pick more food if I'm still hungry. Go to the States and my mind is blown with the enormous plate size, not to mention the stacking on the plate and a side serving plate. Went to this Texan barbecue place and I was only able to finish 1/3 of it and I felt like I was stuffed to the brim. Was looking around and was amazed that people were able to finish off the entire thing. Germany has something called Met. That is seasoned minced meat. Uncooked. You eat it on bread or half a bun, then it is called Mettbrötchen. Since there is a law specifically for producing and handling any ground beef minced meat, raw or cooked, it is safe to eat. When I was in college, my girlfriend was close friends with a Chinese exchange student. One day she's hanging out with us and we offer her a string cheese. She just takes a huge bite out of it. My girlfriend and I explained to her how you were supposed to eat and she just could not understand why anyone would want to eat cheese so slowly and tediously. Edit. Since a lot of people asked about how the way we ate it, here is a random GIF I found showing how you peel and eat. New Zealander here. Our former Prime Minister tarnished our name with his spaghetti on pizza. He was voted out a few months later and I'd like to think that this was the tipping point for most of us Kiwis. I live here now. But before, hot dogs. Who wants to eat the itty part of the animal that's been grinded up into an edible dildo? I love American style coffee, especially like at a diner. I've found Europeans don't appreciate that. I am ethnically Korean, but I was born and raised in Argentina, with American citizenship. Our family loved making Argentina-style barbecue, asado, every weekend. I married my very Korean wife who, during the first 1 year of having asado, she loved it, but now, she just can't understand how our family loves BBQ meat so much, but she just loves having asado plus kimchi, best combo ever. Greasy barbecue washing off with a tangy, refreshing kimchi. Edit. I married my wife in the States, so she has never experienced eating so much meat. Yes, KBBQ is popular, but that's nothing compared how much Argentines eat their asado. KBBQ is usually thin and marinated, eaten as side dish, makes you crave rice, and eaten easily at restaurants, and expensive too, unless it's AYCE. Which lowers quality? Argentina BBQ is best homemade and requires 2-3 hours of preparation and dedication to fire the charcoal. Put thick salt and lemon to like 10 pounds of ribs and grill it slowly. You can't really find authentic asado restaurants. Argentina restaurants usually serve steaks, not whole, slow grilled ribs. My fiance was born and raised in Korea, and I got a kick out of sharing my childhood foods with her. One of them was Pop-Tarts. She was so confused why anyone would eat stale breaded crumbs filled with a tea jam or chocolate. Turns out a lot of people think Pop-Tarts are weird. Thank God she loved flaming hot Cheetos though. Edit. For your information, the only Pop-Tarts I'll eat are brown sugar cinnamon. That's the good stuff. And I'll eat it raw, non-toasted once every blue moon. In our country, a pancake is more like a siape, and we put other thing in it and roll it up. I personally don't really know how is the maple syrup and butter can fit on a pancake, but we have a different thinking when it comes to pancakes, so that is a reason. I'm from the US and still don't understand Rocky Mountain oysters. Why would anyone want to eat spray cheese? I'm British in China and I introduced my Chinese boyfriend to these foods' methods of cooking. His verdicts are: cheese, disgusting; olives, disgusting; toast or can't get enough of it; yogurt so tasty; scrambled eggs on toast, delicious; pasta so; tomato soup, nice; guacamole and tortilla chips so ate the chips; left the guacamole; hummus, beautiful; eats it with a bowl and spoon; burrito so wow; row, what it is; ribena so nice; cereal so why people eat this; milk and wheat; mashed potato, heaven; pizza so tasty; boiled egg and soldiers so okay, cool; pancakes, lemon and sugar so utterly in love; couscous so he prefers rice; cedry grapes cool; roast potatoes and gravy so left the potatoes, he just wanted the gravy. Weird deep fried food. Worked at a food festival and was surprised at all of the booths selling deep fried Oreos, Ferrero Rochers, Snickers, and butter. I remember cringing hard every time someone asked me to direct them to the butter booth. Slight twist on the question, but in the UK I've seen somewhere sell Philadelphia cheesesteak sandwich that consisted of thin cuts of steak cheddar and Philadelphia cream cheese on a baguette. I've had cheesesteak when traveling to the US and it sure as it isn't that. I feel like even Westerners outside of the UK get confused by beans on toast. It's so cheap and tasty though. Edit. It appears it's only considered weird in America by some, which is my experience too. Shouldn't have been so general lol. Ass. Why do Americans love to talk about eating ass? Like it comes from there. I'm from Southeast Asia. When I was studying in the UK, my ex's mother replaced rice with barley seeds. Where I come from, barley is commonly made into a sweet drink, so I was really perplexed seeing barley on my plate with chicken and broccoli. I took so many photos for my family and friends to see lol. Escargot. I come from the southern part of India and I still cannot comprehend how people treat snails as a delicacy. I had a friend from Vietnam who was disgusted by cereal. He didn't know why adults would not only drink liquid from a cow's udders, but that they would also pour it on crispy wheat rice corn flakes and eat it, soggy, with cow boob juice on it. A friend's Asian mom from Hong Kong said that she had some problems with the concept of cheese, rotten and fermented milk. Also my dad, also from Hong Kong, said that crawfish was also looked down upon because it was gathered in mud. But now considering I'm in California and he's still back in Louisiana, text me like an arsehole pictures of him and my mom eating crawfish at a boil telling me look how delicious they are. I am a Westerner, but I always found the concept of drinking milk strange. When I got to America I thought, why is there no rice and why are there so much beef? BC I only eat fish, rice, veggies, chicken and pig. Ducking Vegemite. After 4 years in Australia I am a proud convert, still thinking what the thought process was behind this. Hot Cheetos or any spicy chips. I'm from Peru, we don't really like so many spicy things. When I came to America, I've seen that almost everyone, especially teens, loved hot chips. I tasted some. Now I'm always buying a bag of Takis. How the duck do American people eat stuff like chicken and waffles for breakfast? Warm chicken is a lunch dinner food to me. Unless you are A, having a brunch and are feeling eccentric, or B, eating leftovers from last night for breakfast. A lot of stuff people eat in France. Snails. Frog legs. Foie gras etc. Crocodile alligator presented on a table like it's a piece of turkey. Edit. All the comments are either people agreeing with me, trying to convince me to eat crocodile, and are willing to fight me for it. Guys, it's okay. You can have it. Also, I'd like to point out that we Asians don't eat cats and dogs like how some people don't eat crocodiles. Kinda random but same thing. Just wanna put that out there. Beans for breakfast. What? Why? In Kenya and most of Africa, we use beans as stew and eat it with rice chapati for lunch or supper. We gave our English visitor roast potatoes and kumara in a meal. He politely ate the kumara but thought it was a bad potato. A few years ago I was at a party with a very international group of friends, where we all made various dishes together to eat later. A Slovak guy and a Czech guy decided to make sushi. They'd brought a Finnish sushi cookbook. This was taking place in Finland. A Japanese student started looking through it, and I'll never forget the look on her face. That was the day I learned that a lot of the sushi varieties that are staples here are not authentic at all. It's like pizza. Italians are shocked by everyone else's version. 2. Nice try Easterners. Nothing is topping those scorpion kebabs you make. American. South America. A Japanese friend had a stroke when he saw and tried rice pudding with cinnamon, a bit of cheese, and raisins. I'm American, and I once had a bison burger out in South Dakota. They are amazing. I moved to the US at the age of 13. I am from Tajikistan. I don't understand to this day marshmallows, peanut butter, donuts, and DR pepper. Although DR pepper isn't food, I had to include it in there. It was my very first drink I bought from a vending machine, and I instantly regretted. 1. Fluff. That marshmallow thing in a jar, and then people eat this with peanut butter for a sandwich. 2. How do Americans eat with their ratio of meat to veggies? It's like 1 large steak and 3 small broccoli florets. It would take me few days to get enough fiber to eat this out. 3. Milk. So many lactose intolerant people, yet so many people still drink milk, eat dairy ice cream. I've had enough of my roommates destroying the toilets. I used to drink soy milk. Now this new oat milk thing is amazing. I'm Thai American TCK. I'm from here and can't understand how people eat crawfish. Not sure if this counts because I'm from the UK, but I used to be amazed by American candy that I saw on TV. I wanted to try Hershey's, Twinkies, Tootsie Rolls etc so bad. When I was a teen I found a shop that imported all the American good stuff. My disappointment was immeasurable and my day was ruined when I discovered that American candy is it. Hershey's gets a special award for being the worst chocolate I've ever tasted. I tried to explain buffalo chicken with blue cheese dressing when I was in Thailand. No one believed me that you would dip fried spicy chicken in moldy cheese mayo. I mean, when you think about it. Typo. My dad is Chinese, and when he came to the UK he tried making a roast dinner for my mum, which went well enough until it got to the Yorkshire puddings, which he had thought were a dessert and had filled them with jam and custard.